Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
And today you're going to hold up a book there. It's Safety at Outdoor Pub Concerts, I think it's called. Let's hold it up and have a look.
There it is.
Safety at Outdoor Pub Concerts. Okay, so that book I actually bought in 1998. It was published in 1996. And you can see there's people, I think it's probably Fela on the front or one of those concerts down in Tipperary somewhere.
Yes, it is a lot of people, the same as you get a lot of people going to Croke Park to football matches, and they'd often be full. You'd have to buy a ticket to get in.
Yeah, this book's particularly to do with pub concerts. And the reason I bought it was I was going to actually create a pub concert, a new type of pub concert for the year 2000. And I never went ahead with it. But I did realise that there's so much involved after that was published. There's so much guidelines to follow that it would be the cost of running a pub concert is prohibitive.
Correct. Aside from all the insurance costs and all the rest of it associated with it. So, as I said when we're talking about Danny Healy-Rae and his objection to the powers given to Gardaí and equating it to a dictatorship, he's from the famous County Kerry, where our famous liberator Daniel O'Connell come from, and he's following in the same footsteps, standing up for the common man. It's extraordinary that in this day and age that the government that we're saddled with in this country is guilty of all these things that the foreigner didn't maybe did bad, but maybe not quite as bad, because they did put all the railways around the country. So that was one good thing, and canals which people can use now for boating. So in any event, what's this crowd doing? People were at concerts and various other outdoor events, which is generally safe, as safe as any place, because. But to bring out, because there was a couple of accidents that people were irresponsible. You can't legislate for everybody to be responsible. There'll be always irresponsible people that will do things no matter what you do, no matter how many laws you have. But this business has curtailed outdoor concerts now in this country and gatherings like what they used to be.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, the idea of this was it was the code of practice for safety at outdoor pub concerts, right? And the reason it came about was because people were getting crushed at concerts in Slane. People were trying to swim across the river and they were drowning when there was concerts on. And they were saying that it was a lack of security and a lack of organisation by the promoters, etc. But the problem, of course, now is there's a bigger problem in the sense that they find it so difficult now to make money that they're allowing the pro-abortionists in, and the pro-abortionists pay in a certain amount of money so they can distribute their leaflets for pro-abortion. So this little code of practice for outdoor concerts has created a bigger problem in the area of pro-abortion.
Well, there you are, you see, because they're funded and well funded by overseas globalists, the like of Soros and Gates and all these ones of Microsoft and all these people that want to promote abortion and limiting the population of the world, as if there's not enough resources to feed the people. And there's more resources in the world to feed a lot more people than what they make out. They have an agenda, and if you have an agenda like what they have, and sometimes governments now governments have aided them by bringing in what they want, which is this business of killing babies by abortion, which is an absolute evil that should never have been inflicted on society. It's against the natural law, it's against decency, it's against everything. And of course, when you do that, you open the floodgates. And here we are. This was done printed in 1996, and hence there's been very few outdoor events of any consequence since. Now, you mentioned people being crushed. I know there was events at football matches, Heysem Stadium and in Britain, where there were thugs of one kind or another and people out for badness. We had it here in Dublin one time at a match between Ireland and England when thugs arrived and started throwing down things at the people down below, and the match had to be cancelled. and they got a good beating from the Gardaí at the time as they marched off these thugs that stopped this game. So, but you don't legislate like this because there's some people disruptive. And make it impossible then for any event to be held with all these restrictions.
But it's incredible to think that if people come together, they create a book, Safety at Outdoor Pub Concerts, the government thinks it's doing a good job, okay, for protecting people, but actually years later it creates this problem. When we come to the abortion referendum, we see that inside these concerts there's loads of pro-abortion people giving out these leaflets, and they would not be there unless they had paid, some organisation had paid for them to be in there.
Correct, because they wouldn't be getting voluntary contributions from anyone.
Yes.
That's number one, because they're promoting evil, so they got it from like-minded people with money. Now, that certainly wasn't going to help the sort of event that people were normally enjoying. They were being indoctrinated, and hence perhaps might have accounted for the number of young people voting for such evil, because they were brainwashed, and we didn't hear any other narrative. Now, I think they'd want to have another look at this business of outdoor events and promote them as being good for society, not restrict them as they have done with this book. If there's reasonable safety precautions, don't forget insurance has to be employed, but if there's reasonable amount of that, well then stop putting more restrictions on events, and so as people can go about and enjoy themselves. People are suffering from what I hear and from what I encounter, because I speak to people, and they're suffering from isolation and depression. Now, I know in this country, and although we haven't heard the figures, we've heard the figures about COVID until we're blue in the face, and people going around wearing masks, which there's a dispute about. Anyways, we're talking about this. Now, what I am saying is that this government has introduced policies to control people's movements, to control and to make it that the people themselves are imposing these restrictions on other people that have nothing to do with them. And as a matter of fact, you can go into a premises, and unless you're going to have something to eat, you won't get served any drink. And no matter what you say, and they say it's the law, and I say to them, and I refuse to obey that, I said, well, where's the law? I don't see any Gardaí here that probably might be coming. Are you expecting them? Well, no, it's the law. So they're inflicting the law on potential customers.
They have become the policeman.
Correct. In other words, it's becoming a police state, as Danny Healy-Rae vouchsafed. And what I find absolutely indefensible is that he was only one of 10 in the Dáil that objected to it, and objected to it very good, and has got publicity because most people support Danny's views. But if you're living in a state where the government is ruling the roost and introducing laws, interfering with people's freedom to go about and their lawful business, you see, they can use the health, but what else would they use in future? It's a very dangerous path to be going down, and we see how they interfered with the gatherings of people, because in case there might be an accident and somebody might do something irresponsible that they shouldn't do. This is no way to run a society because of what one or two might do. You can't legislate for people that are stupid and will not obey anything.
Yeah, very good point. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Barbara.